everybody. Welcome back to Midwest Motorsports Sunday night stock car series at the Glen. We're going bowling here for 145 laps around the Watkins Glen, New York racetrack. I'm here, your broadcaster, Michael Harris Jr., up in the 7-Time Studios in the northern United States. We've got with us 6 of our racers here lined up, ready to get rolling. Well, they're already rolling up through the S's here. Jason Huffman puts it on the pole with Norm Snyder in second, Josh Watt in third, Rick Schommer in fourth. Ant Castor coming to join us here in 5th place, and rounding out the field in 6th is Chris Thaler in the number 7 Haas Ford Mustang. Glad to have all of you here with us this evening as we come on up to New York, upstate New York by the Finger Lakes. We'll see how these guys get around this racetrack. It is really hot racing surface here. Practice for these guys was 100 degrees on the track. It's 91 degrees right now as we get ready to get the green flag rolling. I'm just glad to be back up here in the booth for one more race for the stock car series. We have a one-off this week with Easter next Sunday. No festive Easter schemes, though. Ant Castor is going to start from the pits. I believe he is serving a penalty that he received earlier in the season. Has not had an opportunity to serve it, so what better track to serve a pit lane penalty than Watkins Glen or any of the road courses? It's coming down the penultimate turns of the racetrack here. Lights off on the pace car as they will be going green this time by, and here we go, actually. Wow, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Jason Huffman getting a jump over Norm Snyder, the entire inside groove. Oh, Norm! Ooh, look at that. I don't know exactly what happened there. Norm and Ron Schommer got at it with Jason Huffman going into turn 1. Josh Watt has moved up to 3rd place again. So they're going up the S's here. We'll see if I can see anything here. No, I think it was just Norm got into the back of Jason there. Maybe mistimed his braking zone. Ron Schommer locked it up going into turn 1. That's what I saw in my other screen. And Chris Thaler in the bus stop there. Off he goes. Just so you guys know, there is a fast repair in the works. Oh, not really a fast repair in the works. It does exist. So if drivers need to use the fast repair, they've got one when they come down pit lane. Here comes Jason Huffman rounding the last corner. This time I'm watching the right screen. And there it is, the first lap of the race. A little bit of excitement there to begin with, but off to the races they go. Norm Snyder putting down a 125 for his first lap, 122 for Jason. Josh Watt puts down a 127, while Ron puts down a 128. Ron just made a pass on Josh Watt. And we'll move up the list to 3rd. There's Mountain Dew machine. Ant Castor going to go around Josh Watt. Now, this is not a battle for position between Ant Castor and Josh, as Ant went down 1 lap. There's pit lane start. They go into the carousel. So let's do a little through the field action here. I know we're doing a little bit of whiplash, I suppose, but we're going to start at the beginning of the field with Jason Huffman driving the number 4 Miller Lite Ford. Started off the season driving John Deere in the green and yellow, and has since changed sponsorship over to Miller Lite. They gave him the call and said, hey, drive the Blue Deuce. Except it's not the Deuce, it's the Quattro. He goes down through turn one, going around Chris Thaler, who is just coming out of pit lane. Norm Snyder sitting in second place on the racetrack here in his Harris Ford Mustang. He drove the Dodge, or not the Dodge, it's not Dodge, it's a Ram 1500 on Friday night for the first time over at Darlington. It was a pretty decent race there. Norm had a pretty good run. Got to interview him just to talk about Indy and how he was able to finish in third place there. So he continues to drive around the racetrack and try and keep somewhat close to Jason. Make it a little bit competitive. And Ant Caster, I'm just scoring bug lies. It tells me lots of different things. He's actually on the lead lap. My apologies. Not in his usual DEI Dale Earnhardt red or some variety of Midwest Motorsports paint scheme. I mean, I think it is the Midwest Motorsports on there, but the side box, or the side pod there, as you'd call it for F1. Interesting terminology, sir. Yep, nope, that's the Midwest Motorsports on the front deck. And Hot Shots on the side. Been a while since he's been out here on the racing surface, getting some of that rust off here. He's definitely someone to look out for the rest of the race. In fact, he just put down the fastest time on the track last time around at a 1:15.433. And working that rust off pretty quick. In fourth place, we got Ron Schaumer back here. So he's going through the penultimate set of turns. And the number 97 Toyota Supra, which is Mountain Dew Zero this weekend. Ron, always a dark horse for the race. Been pretty competitive so far this season. Much more competitive we've seen out of the 97 entry. And oh no, broadcaster curse has finally come to life here at Watkins Glen. I talked about him. Now he's wheeling in turn one. No extra damage though, as he's able to avoid hitting the wall. Just set him back on some time. Series Racing Director Josh Watt is up here on the racing surface in a number 20 Ford Mustang. Driving around with the Canadian Aerospace Organization. The Canadian Space Agency. Hoping to send that car to the moon, maybe? I don't know. Although it is red for Mars or Coca-Cola. You take your pick. Rounding out the field, Chris Thaler, who had that incident at the bus stop earlier. Able to hold on to it there through turn one. We've seen some guys loop it around in that spot. They did change the incident limit, or the incident spot, the off-track location in that corner. It has more runoff there, so you're not getting a 1x just for putting your wheels on the curbing. Or going over the curbing there, but it has not helped some of these drivers who have been finding the lack of grip out there. Jason Huffman has continued his racing lead here after 5 laps. Working on lap 6 here. Norm Snyder has caught up. Don't know exactly what happened. His last lap was a 1:18. And he's coming on down pit lane. There might be some damage on that number 4 machine, but Norm Snyder has officially taken the lead and leads his first lap of the day. There he goes in that Ferris Ford Mustang. With Ancaster closing in on him as they go up the S's up the hill. Fastest part of the racetrack here. You're almost redlining by the time you need to slow down for the best stop. We'll see how he goes through it. Bouncing off the curbs pretty well there. Still able to hold a 1 second lead. Gets into the carousel and is not letting up, although he does not have as good of a run into the carousel. He's able to get a better run out of it as he continues to close. And here we go through the penultimate set of corners here. The lead down to 0.7 of a second as they get out of the final turn. Norm able to lead 2 laps here. Ancaster still on his heels, running an 0.8 of a second faster lap that time by. Here they go through turn 1. Half a second separating first and second now. It is a 21-second gap back to third. Norm did very well so far early on in the race to keep up with Jason Huffman at the start of the racetrack. Well, the start of the race. Again, not sure exactly what happened to Jason there. This track has been rather warm. It's still showing at 91.4 degrees, which is how the race started at green flag. I mean, that was only 10 minutes ago, so temperature can drop pretty quickly in 10 minutes, but usually with cloud cover. Ancaster trying to find a way around Norm already in the penultimate set of corners. Here they go out of the final turn. This lead's still about half a second. Norm continues to hold on to it, only 0.2 of a second slower through the track. More like 0.15 seconds. He's going to use the whole runoff spot as Ancaster hugs it tight, stays inside the curbing. Norm up to 0.6 of a second as he runs up the S's. The ace of spades, the ace of spades. Norm likes to gamble. All right, back to the bus stop here as they continue to battle for the lead in about a half a second. Now as Ancaster, oh, it looked like he was getting a little sideways going into the carousel. He's going to have a tight car coming on out, which gives Norm a bit of advantage. Got down to 0.3 of a second there after that move, trying to dive into it. Getting a little aggressive here. Norm's trying to continue, stay running the same line. He's holding his own as he comes back out. 0.27 seconds and kind of staying there. Here they go into turn 1. Norm's been doing pretty good. And getting a little close there. No bump and run, though. Ooh, Norm gets a little loose. Ant's on the outside. Ant is gone. Norm unable to get back onto the throttle fast enough to keep his car ahead. And now he is a whole second behind Ancaster. See you later, says the host of the Cool Down Lap podcast. I had to, think about the name of the program. As Ancaster will now take the lead. Norm going ahead and leading up to lap 9. So he will get those. Go back to Norm just to see exactly how many he got. 4 laps. I'm going to try to play with something here real quick, so just bear with me for a moment. Trying to see if I can fix this echo. I don't know if you guys hear it or not, but I get a pretty nasty echo. So I'm going to try and see if I can adjust that on the fly here while the race continues to go on. You're not missing a whole lot, as we've got our leaders just miles ahead. Miles ahead. Jason Huffman has passed by Josh Watt, moving on up to 4th place. He is closing in on Ron Schaumer for 3rd. Came down on lap 6 to get 6 seconds of fuel. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. You're not keeping me awake. I'm keeping me awake. Thank you all for coming out here to watch this race broadcast with me. It's been my treat throughout the season to be providing you guys with as good of a broadcast personality, if you will, or just a broadcast atmosphere as I can. Give you the best story, or give you at least the most fun you can have on a Sunday night here in the airwaves. I know we got F1 action, IndyCar today, NASCAR earlier today. If I say anything, Norm will be like, I got that on DVR, don't say anything. All right, back to the closest battle on the racetrack here. Jason Huffman hunting down his prey, going on to 3rd place here, as he's got Ron Schaumer in his sights. Let's see what it looks like behind the wheel of that number 4 machine. This is what Jason Huffman sees right now. With you, trying to hold his car from losing it there, getting into the bus stop. I guess it's pretty slick going on in there. He's on the inside in the carousel, and it looks like Ron's gonna just let him go and fight another day. Big runoff there at the end of the carousel. They get back on the racetrack. Shifting gears. Heading on into the penultimate corners here. So it was said to me earlier today, 15 to 16 laps is about the fuel window. Now, we know Ancaster can make that last longer. We know some other guys who can certainly add some time into this here, riding along with Norm Snyder as he goes through the bus stop. He has a 6-second gap now between himself and Antcaster for the lead. Jason Huffman has a whole 25 seconds to make up now, almost 26 seconds. Well, 25 and a half. And there we go. 13 laps have now been complete as Antcat passes the start-finish line. And there goes Norm through turn 1. I'm going to do the static camera here for a minute. Just kind of let you see some of the angles and spots the TV camera is set up on race day here at Watkins Glen. Get you some beautiful cinematography. If any of you guys want to take or decide you like taking pictures or painting pictures or any of that. Ooh, something happened here. We missed out on this. Ron Schaumer getting around Jason Huffman. What happened? Jason's not having the greatest start to his race here at Watkins Glen. And let's see what happens through turn 1. He's going to the left. I'm sure he's braking now. Oh, the car just snaps out from under him. as he gets set for turn 1 in through the grass. Touching that Dave & Buster's logo. Want to visit the arcade? And he's lucky he's not getting stuck on that little rut there. Ron gets around him. That's pretty much it. Doing some mowing in the grass for some Miller Lite. He's back and underway here. And on up through the S's to see if he can catch back up. I'm sure he will be able to. He's probably figured out the pit stop strategy as well to try and come out on top at the end of the race. Just watching some big gains, big losses here, trying to keep an eye on who might be doing something funky fresh. And as Ancaster finishes his 15th lap, Norm Snyder's going to come on down pit lane. First one to take it around the full pit stop cycle. We'll see what happens here, how this pit strategy unfolds for him. Ron Schaumer has also chose to come on down pit lane. Jason Huffman will move up the board here. Norm is now back out on the racing surface. Comes on out around the time that Jason Huffman is going through turn 1. So they're going to go up the S's together. Josh Watt has also come on down pit lane. That means Ancaster has chose to stay out. How is that going to impact the rest of his race, especially when he's going to continue to stay out there? Finishes lap 16. 29 laps left in this race to go. We're looking at 2 pit stops, or at least, yeah, 2 pit stops for Ancaster at this point. We'll have his pit stop now, pit stop later. Whether he will do full fuel stint for that one and only have a few laps left to go. All depends on what he's got for a strategy. Now, there's only 2 sets of tires for these cars to use. They got the set that they came with and then 2 extras in pit lane. Jason Huffman and Norm Snyder chose not to put any fuel in during their pit stop. Now, Jason, of course, came down in lap 6. Ron Schaumer and Josh Watt both came down and took tires as well as fuel. I'm not sure if there's some extra damage on Josh's machine, but he is... Well, they're both a lap down. Chris Thaler lap down. Ancaster now coming down pit lane. Jason Huffman going through the S's with Norm Snyder right on his tail. Norm's been pretty competitive here. I'm sorry, I said it again. I had to put that little Buffalo Wild Wings button away. But he's making some moves here. He's definitely got some speed he's shown in practice. Well, we've said that about Norm before, and when the race happens, he's at least on the track. Now, what that's doing for him in the long run has actually been pretty good. These two are locked in a battle for the championship point standings. As now Jason Ancaster is back on the racing surface. Unlike regular ovals, you can pretty much get away with taking a full pit stop without losing a lap, without losing so much time. Excuse me. Jason Huffman now only 9 seconds behind Lancaster, and of course he's gaining as he goes through the bus stop here. Sliding his way through. Track has still not dropped. I don't know if it's just because they put set temps or what. But either way, this has been an interesting development here on this race, that the leader hasn't necessarily gone flying way ahead. Jason getting a little loose there on the second to last corner. And a little loose coming out of the final corner, which gives Ant a little bit more of a gap. What's down to 9.5. We'll get back up with Antcaster here. Getting a little loose coming out of the S's. Going down into the bus stop. We got 27 laps to go. And speaking of Midwest Motorsports, let's talk a little bit about our racing league here. Midwest-motorsports.com. That's once again Midwest-motorsports.com. Cannot talk, but guess what? Ignore the guy who is having some trouble there. And listen to this. If you go down to the description down below, you can find the actual link to the Racing League's website. You're dedicated, and Steve Hansel's done amazing work with that website to put up a spectacular product. Gives you all the information you'll need to follow along with this Racing League, whether it's following along on social media, joining us on the Discord, or joining us on the racetrack itself. So if you go to that link, it will give you the option to register for one of our racing leagues in iRacing, the Stock Car Series you're watching tonight, our Road Series that happens Tuesday nights, and the Truck Series that happens on Friday nights. Let's talk a little bit more about those. As you know, Sunday nights, usually the race green flag drops at 8:25 Eastern Standard Time. The time did change to 8:30 tonight because of the road course. We get 10 minutes to qualify instead of the standard 5. But at any rate, the green flag drops around 8:25 Eastern Standard Time. On Sunday nights, we use the Xfinity cars, or the O'Reilly Auto Parts cars. I've still not gotten used to the O'Reilly series being the series, so, or series name. I mean, I grew up with it being Busch, so take that as you will. Jason Huffman falling quite a bit further back here. Not sure what's going on for him. But Norm Snyder within 3 seconds behind, 3 seconds of second. Tuesday nights, we have our Road Series, and the lead broadcasters there are James Johnson, the legendary voice himself of Midwest Motorsports, and Adam Sondag, a legend of his own right. Two of them call one of the largest fields that we see here in the Racing League community. 40 cars get together about every Tuesday night, battling it out in the Porsche pickup car. Last week we were at Imola, and this coming week we are at Spa. That's a series that I try to typically race in. Been out the past 2 weeks due to other circumstances I've already complained about. But yeah, no, it's a great time. Guys are a lot of fun. And then on Friday nights, we have our Friday Night Truck Series. We just did Flashback Friday, which is the throwback. I'm calling it Flashback Friday. Where we raced at Darlington Raceway, and this week we have Pocono. Yes, Pocono. Let me just make sure that I'm not telling lies here, because I'm pretty sure I talked about Pocono on Friday night. Yes, Pocono. Watkins Glen for the trucks is the following week. So Pocono Raceway will be where our trucks are this coming Friday night at 9:55 Eastern Standard Time, 9:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All our leagues are free and always open for you to come join. We are towards the tail end of all seasons, Season 10 in the oval sides and Season 11 in the roadside. However, it's still not too late to join. Maybe you're not going to win the championship at this point, but you get to race with a fun crew of guys and have a good time. Learn how to drive better, or be able to teach somebody else how to drive better. Everybody's always open to questions. You can ask anybody whatever, and they're usually more than willing to help and talk to you. We all want to have nice, clean racing, not just have everybody spread out, 5 cars on the racing surface. We have had 30 cars on the racing surface before in the truck series. It was usually a very frequent thing. And we always try to prioritize just having a clean, fun race with no to minimal cautions. So, all of our races are fixed setups, which are always posted at the beginning of the season. If they're any different than what iRacing would use at the particular track, our roadside loves to host a whole bunch of different practice sessions. I know sometimes we do host stuff on the oval side for practice. And we have a fun community as well that delves into the fun special events like this weekend's Sebring 12-hour race. So, feel free to join us at midwest-motorsports.com today, or whatever day you're happening to listen to this here, because it may not be Sunday night, March 29th by the time you are watching this. And Cast are trying to use as much of the road or paved surface as he can. Goes way out towards the wall there through turn 1. Trying to hold the momentum there. Jason Huffman came down pit road on lap 21, so he only made it 15 laps. There's a 21-second gap between Ant and Norm Snyder. Jason Huffman, 32 seconds behind Norm. Then you got Ron Schaumer, almost 8 seconds behind Jason in 4th. Josh Watt, 42 seconds back there of Ron Schaumer. He's in 5th, the first car lap down. And Chris Thaler sits in 6th place, a lap down, but continuing to go. Jason actually just set his fastest lap of the race, a 16:003. Not quite as quick as Ant Caster's fastest lap. Ant put down a 1:15.110 earlier in the race. This time Jason did take tires, so he's got the freshest set on the track. Ant Caster came down lap 17 and only took fuel, an 8.85 second pit stop. Now, it's a gamble on whether you're going to take tires or not. It's not like this track usually eats tires for a living, but with the track temperatures, it's something you consider at least. I would probably take tires, but that's just my lack of knowledge. So the track temp has gone down a little bit since the race started. It has dropped significantly since the practice session, when it was at 100 degrees. It is now down to 89.6. This time by, as soon as Ant Caster passes the start-finish line, we will have 20 laps left of a race here at Watkins Glen. Now, everybody loves to mess with Wikipedia, which is where I usually get most of my little fun facts that I throw in throughout the races here. 1:15.585 last time by. That was Jason Huffman, fastest time on the track right now. They just set another personal best on the race today. So every time I go on here, something's different. Something has to have its own little technicality. So Watkins Glen International is and has pretty much always been known to be in Watkins Glen, New York. However, when you look on the Wikipedia page, it tells you that Watkins Glen is actually located in the village or a town of Dix, D-I-X, before I get canceled, in Schuyler County, New York, with a population of 3,700 people, 3,723. In fact, when you click on there and go look on the town's Wikipedia page, it doesn't mention anything about the track until you get to a little tiny section talking about the communities and locations in the town. Then you look at Watkins Glen, the town. There's a population of 1,800 people. I'm sorry, the village of Watkins Glen. It lies between Dix and Reading. And to the southwest of the village is the racetrack that bears this village's name. Fun fact about Watkins Glen itself, it was first named Jefferson in 1842. 10 years later, it was renamed to honor Dr. Samuel Watkins. His brother had purchased property around the gorge in 1794 and constructed mills. He spent 4 decades, Samuel, building up the area with road, shops, and a hotel. The fact that he came and helped build up this town or village gave him the honor of having it renamed after him. Oh, that's not quite the thing I wanted to click out of. Hopefully I don't hit too many buttons, because sometimes the studio does not like when I click too many buttons. Meanwhile, here we've got Jason Huffman trying to set the world on fire to catch back up. He did at some point post a 1:15.399 as his fastest lap with fresh tires. We should be seeing pit stops here in the next 5 minutes or 5 laps or so. 5 minutes is generous. Again, this all kind of depends on what the drivers kind of want to do, because Ant could technically come pit this time by, get some fuel, get some tires, and then that's his race, because he's already done 17 or so laps on a tank. He doesn't necessarily have to burn out the whole 17 or 15 laps. Norm came down on lap 15, so he's got 2 laps before he has to pit, absolutely. But he could still choose to pit in the next couple laps if he wanted to, and just not have to worry about it. Now, with that said, Jason Huffman, who pit on lap 21, still has to also pit. So does he short pit? Does he stay out until he's done and hope he's got enough of an advantage? Is he able to close in? I mean, unfortunately, he's 51 seconds behind Ant Caster. It's gonna take a monumental error on somebody's part for Jason to get close enough, I think. I mean, pit lane is long. I don't remember, I think it's 35, 40 miles an hour. Well, regardless, getting distracted again. getting distracted. I just wanted to tell some facts here while everybody continues to drive around. I mean, if you want, we can click this button too, and you'll get to see where everybody is out on the track. The track map has made its appearance once again on the Oval Series. I don't usually leave it up, but I think it's helpful for you guys to see just kind of what the spread looks like here. This white dot surrounded by green, that is your race leader, Ancaster. The blue dot, that is Norm Snyder. Then there's a black dot. That's not Jason Huffman. That would probably be Chris Thaler if I had to be guessing, man. It is. That next black dot there, that's Chris Thaler. Then it's Jason. The other white dot here, that would be Josh Watt. And then there's the red dot. The red dot is Ron Schamer. So, there you go. It does appear, though, that Ancaster is going to come in now with 15 laps to go. Norm Snyder's also going to do the same. What's going on up here? Not too sure. Somebody got some fun ways there out of the carousel. Just look like a couple dots just not moving. Jason's going to come down pit lane as well. Ancaster already back out onto the racing surface. Did he even bother to take tires? He did. He did manage to get tires on that car. Norm Snyder is also going to probably do about the same. Why not? You get two sets. And out he goes. Jason Huffman going down pit lane. He's in his pit box now. Josh Watts down pit road. Ron Schamer is going to stay out. Interesting strategy here. Can he get far enough ahead of Jason Huffman? Jason did take tires this time as well. Norm Snyder, I'm not going to say anything. Nope, I did not say anything. You can't prove that I was going to say anything bad or naughty. Something that would get somebody in trouble. But the gap between second and third is down to 10 seconds. Jason Huffman is flying through the bus stop right now. Closing in on Ron Schamer. Ron just trying to fuel save to get to the pit box this time by. Look at that rocket come out of the carousel. That was Jason Huffman. He is trying to set the world on fire. He's got to here. He is only now down to 46 seconds behind the race leader. That is a lot of ground to gain. 14 laps to go. Ancaster just coming out of the carousel himself. I think Norm is behind Chris Thaler. Now this is usually the race for the old folks home. Right now, Norm's got it pretty handily held. And of course, in the Stock Car Series, Norm's winning the Tapioca Championship, Tapioca Cup. I know, James, I know you're hearing this and saying, you continue to tell me, don't take the hats to victory lane just yet. I'm just saying he's winning it right now. It doesn't mean he's won it yet. So back to what I was going to say earlier today. Yeah, this racetrack was opened up in a time and a place. The current track layouts have been in use since 1992. The short circuit, which is also known as the NASCAR circuit, which is what these guys are driving on right now, as well as the Grand Prix circuit, which includes the boot, which is a section that you don't usually see except our Road Series drive on. Chris can have some airtime. Why not? He has won a race, so he's earned that. Especially since I was not here to show it off and talk about it. So this racetrack was originally opened back in 1956. It has had races in this area since 1948, but it was a permanent circuit back in 1956. It was run as Watkins Glen Grand Prix Circuit up until 1981, when it became Watkins Glen International Raceway up until 2005. It was operated by NASCAR from 1997 onward, and International Speedway Corporation bought it out in 1997. Which, again, that's NASCAR. So they were International Raceway long before NASCAR came and purchased the track. In fact, we have Watkins Glen to thank for Cameron Argetsinger, who had a family summer home in the area. It was actually raced by the SCCA and had a sanctioned race on a 6.6 mile course over the local public roads. It passed through the heart of the town, spectators lining the sidewalks. Chris doing Samoan right there. Always fun. Hopefully he puts some good patterns down. A car, however, did leave the road in 1952 and killed a child watching and injured several others. Oh no, this is getting demonetized. And they moved it to a wooded hilltop southwest of the town, which is where the track sits today. It was built a 4.6 mile road course. It had also used existing roads as well. The old course, very different, by the way, from what we see today. I wish I could post a picture of it or do something here to change the camera, but it's definitely something. They had a corner called the Big Bend that led to Steuben Street, Millikins, and then you get to the town center where the start-finish line was off Franklin Street and Old Corning Hill, Seneca Lodge, and Townsend Road. Then you took a boot in the New York Highway and underpass, down around the schoolhouse and a stone bridge, took a couple of corners, headed by the Railroad Straight and Station Road before you made your major pass. And they actually still have mile markers where the original Grand Prix race course is. So if you ever decide to stop by, whether it's at a NASCAR race weekend or just a nice summertime adventure where they're not bowling here, you can check that out. They got the whole museum, cars there, stuff for you to look at, which is always cool. Back up front here, Aunt Castor continues to run away with it as we are within 10 laps of the end of the race. 9 to go this time as Aunt Castor passes the start-finish line. 30.7 seconds back as Norm Snyder trying to keep up. Jason Huffman back 15.4 seconds of Norm Snyder, 46 seconds behind. Once again, Norm is that blue dot and that black dot in the back. Don't take that out of context. Is he going through the final two turns? That is Jason Huffman. Ron Schaummer finds himself 38, almost 39 seconds back in fourth place, a lap down. Knocking all that rust right on off there. Antcaster surging ahead here. It's kind of the story of the day. He took the lead early on and hasn't let go since. Started in pit lane. We've had only 2 lead changes. The first one coming when Jason Huffman came down pit road. Norm Snyder took the lead for a couple of laps, and then Antcaster took it from there and has not let go since. The weather has changed a little bit here on the track temperature, which is making it easier for the drivers to drive around with these fresher tires. When we started this race, it was 91 degrees. Again, they practiced on 100 degrees from the actual track itself. The air temp has not changed at all, folks. It's 77 degrees, still sunny, although it's kind of partly cloudy, I guess, out there. Jason Huffman hoping he can at least get past Norm Snyder at the end of the race. Continue to chase him down. Now the lead is currently 23 points in the point standings. Let's talk a little bit about those point standings. Norm Snyder continues to lead the Stock Car Series Championship race with 630 points. Jason Huffman has 607, puts him 23 points behind. Jason has a win, but otherwise their stats are pretty similar. 11 top 5s between the two. Norm has 16 top 10s, while Jason has 15. Jason has led a lot more laps than Norm, but doesn't always matter if you lead a lap or the most laps. It matters where you finish at the end of the day. And the consistency. Norm's been here pretty much every single week. You figure out what week you're on just by looking at how many top 10s Norm has this season. Ron Schaummer sitting in third place, another consistent driver. He has 7 top 5s and 14 top 10s. Eric Thaler, who has won a race in the Stock Car Series, he's currently fourth place, not here today. 509 points to his name with a win, 12 top 5s and 12 top 10s. Dustin Reinsettle sits in fifth place after winning 10 races this season with 11 top 5s and 11 top 10s. Oh no! Antcaster loses it on turn 1. We told you it was going to take something catastrophic for this race to go any other way. He had lapped by Josh Watt. Once again, putting Josh 4 laps down. Now Josh will get a lap back. That lead gets cut down to 35 seconds. So, no, it's not the worst thing in the world right now, but having those lapses, getting any nerves into that system, that's going to send, that's could domino effect, folks. Will it? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Now it's going to calculate. It's the lead is down to 24.5 seconds. That blue dot on your screen, the top right, that's getting closer to our race leader. Norm's actually putting up a good fight over Jason Huffman, having kept himself above 14 seconds. Chris Thaler, who's on track today, he's currently sitting in 6th place. He has 340 points. He got himself a win, 3 top 10s and 3 top 5s and 10 top 10s for his season. Helps him get up there into 6th place. Ant Caster currently 9th place in the standings. 287 points here. With a win, 5 top 5s and 8 top 10s. Clarence Prince announced to everyone he's got some stuff going on. So we're sad to see you not racing with us here on Sunday nights. But we look forward to when you come back. We'll see that 83 Toyota car come again. Word choices, Michael. Word choices. We'll see that number 83 ride again. I don't think that's any better. Well, either way, Clarence Prince will be back. And we look forward to it. And Josh Watt out here putting in his best effort. 14th place in the point standings. 125 points to his name. With a top 5 and 4 top 10s. Josh, you're not supposed to let the curse affect you too. Yeah, so this is a race. Apparently this curse is happening to some people today. It's been a while since the commentator curse of mine has come into full play. Still very reminiscent and reminded of there are no amateurs in this race, in this league, and the mayhem that caused. No, I'm not trying to set up more shenanigans. Why do you ask? And Caster bringing it around one more time here. 3 laps to go at Watkins Glen. I tell you what, Go Bowling has just been the perfect sponsorship for this racetrack. I can't think of anywhere else that would have played out any better. I get excited not just to call this race, but to get to this track just to ask people, are you going bowling? Or even just naming any of the streams I did personally as I'm going bowling to the Glen. I'm glad nobody looked at my Twitch channel before letting me have this gig, because I wouldn't be here. I mean, maybe I would be on track, I don't know. But I definitely wouldn't be here up in the booth talking to you guys. Whether you think that's a shame or whether you think that's a blessing or a great thing that I'm up here, I don't know. I get the feeling you guys are good with me up here. It'd be great to have James up here too. We look forward to when he can come on back here to the oval side. But I am just happy that he is back at all and that he's able to broadcast on Tuesday nights with Adam. I think it's the best dynamic duo that there is anywhere. I really believe that. Such a good vibe. Such a good vibe. Listening to them talk on the stream while racing is just something else. Jason Huffman trying to will that machine as much as it will go. Trying to catch up to Norm Snyder, as this is really the best that he can do now, unless Ant Caster has any other issues going around the racetrack. The last 2 laps, he is 42 seconds behind our race leader, but only 9.4 seconds behind Norm Snyder. We are on our final lap. And Castor going up the S's. Over the bridge. Making his way down the back straightaway to the bus stop. 33 seconds separating him and Norm Snyder. Jason Huffman is in pit lane. I'm not sure what's going on down there. Ron Schamer is a lap down. Does he take third? I don't think so. Ron is a whole lap down still. And there you have it, folks. Ant Castor has won here at Watkins Glen. Wheel that number 8 machine down to victory lane. Norm Snyder still working hard. Coming down the penultimate corners here. I'm guessing Jason had to deal with a penalty, a drive-through penalty. That seals the deal for Norm Snyder, who gets his second place finish of the season. Always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Unless you're talking about tapioca. And of course, Jason Huffman going through those final corners himself as well, with Ron Schamer right behind him. Barney did a lot of workout before this race. Flapping that checkered flag. All right, let's go ahead and pull up our race results here. Kind of talked about them most of the night. Ant Castor comes home with the race victory. Norm Snyder finishes in second place. Jason Huffman third. Ron Schamer fourth. Chris Thaler in fifth. And Josh Watt rounds out the field in sixth place. Definitely not the order I thought might see at the end, but here we are. Now we're going to start pulling up our drivers here. All right, let's start with our... Oh, hold on. I got to get the echo machine out. All righty, let's start with our third place driver, Jason Huffman. Jason, we got a copy.
Loud and clear.
All right, Jason, welcome back to the booth here. That number 4 machine was pretty fast for the beginning of the race. And why don't you talk us through it there? You had some stuff going on.
Yeah, it was a little eventful, and I'm not the greatest mathematician. I thought pitting a little early was going to be a way to like cut it down and kind of do it like you do at a road course, but I wasn't looking at the laps, and I just screwed that up, and then I ended up making some mistakes throughout trying to play some catch up, like lost it into turn 1. Got some off tracks that led to me having to serve a drive through at the end there after getting that damage on the start of the race. But all in all, I got the pole. I got to lead some laps, bonus points, and a third place still. I'll take it.
Not a bad finish in the end after everything going on. I was confused at first when I saw the car going down pit lane at the end, going, wait a minute, how on earth do you still need fuel?
Yeah. I also confused the rest of the people in the chat because that's just me being dumb. I feel like I'm due for one bad call and pit strategy without like thinking about it.
Well, it does happen to us, but we got an off week this coming week here. New Hampshire Motor Speedway coming up the following week. Any thoughts about the flat and 1 mile oval?
Well, if Eric is there, he'll probably lead every lap. But I think it's a pretty interesting track. It's got its own challenges. We'll see how it goes with the O'Reilly car. It was a little bit easier to drive in the next gen because you were able to do a lot of shifting in it, but with how this one will run, it'll be interesting as far as like how we're gonna attack the corners and how all that's gonna go.
Alrighty, well, we look forward to that there. Everybody, Jason, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have our second place finisher, Norm Snyder. Norm, you got a copy?
I gotcha.
Alrighty, that 28 car was pretty fast. You keeping up with everybody up front? How did it feel to you?
Yeah, lots of practice. That's all I can say is I really practice hard for this one because I'm usually so bad at road courses, but I'm happy.
Did you feel like you had the home court advantage here?
Yeah. Yeah, only 2 hours away. Yep. Yep.
There you go. Well, we got an off week, like we talked about. New Hampshire coming on up. You're leading the points, man. You gonna keep up that pace?
I'm gonna try. I know it's gonna be tough with Jason chasing me, but I think we were awash tonight in points, so I don't know. We'll see.
No, I would say you probably got a couple of points on him today.
No, I don't think so. He got the pole and he led a lap, and I led a lap and was 1 point ahead of him in the standings, second to third. So I think it's a wash.
Well, guess we'll see when it's posted there.
Yep.
But at any rate, you're still leading the Tapioca Cup.
Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty, Norm. Anything else you wanted to bring up today?
No, not really. Congratulate Ant on the win. That's about it.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us, Norm.
Okay.
We'll see you in a couple. We'll see you Friday.
Okay. Sounds good. See ya.
Norm Snyder, everybody. And last but certainly not least, our race winner, Ant Castor. You got a copy?
I sure do, man. How's it going?
It is going pretty good there. At paint scheme, I wasn't sure at first, but I was able to point out the Midwest Motorsports.
Yeah, was it hard to pick up going down the track?
Well, the angle of which the camera is sitting at, it's just like a little red and blue dot on the left and a little black on the right.
Yeah, gotcha. I'll work on it.
Once I took a different look at it, it was fine. But that car, lightning fast after it came out of pit.
Oh yeah, from starting from the pits, man. I kind of felt it after the first or second lap. I was like, "Oh man, I got something I can work with here." And I started reeling in Norm, and Huffman's strategy really threw me through a loop. Like I wasn't sure what he was doing when he pitted that early, and then from there it was just, following Norm and just waiting for him to kind of go wide so I could make a move.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't sure about the pit strategy. I thought it might have worked at first, but then once I did the math myself, I went, well.
Yeah, I was in the chat with him. I'm like, what kind of strategy you pulling here, man? What kind of Houdini work is this?
It's a second guessing strategy. It's trying to get you to pit another lap or two and go, oh, well, this has got to be the way.
He came close, man. I was looking at it and I'm like, should I pit? Like, what's he on? And then I started doing the math in my head and I'm like, he's on something because it ain't going to work. But What's this? What's this I hear about the commentator's curse was getting everybody?
I'm not sure what was going on with it. I literally go on to somebody and they'd have a moment.
Was
It
that
started
whenever
with
I
Ron.
spun?
Yeah, you spun. You spun.
I was saying in the chat, I said, go to second place, sit on second place.
I was talking about Ron at first and talking about how he's competitive. He looped it into turn one. Then I moved on to somebody else a little later on in the race. I think it was Josh. I wasn't even on him. I was just talking about him, and then he looped it. Then Jason looped it somewhere. I had literally changed the camera to Chris right at the bus stop, and he had looped it. I was like, wow, that's the Monza curse again.
Yeah, I was I was expecting it whenever Josh said, yeah, everybody that's spun so far has had the commentary curse, and I'm like, oh, that's happened. That was me. So, but I was able to build up enough of a lead that it didn't matter too much that I had that slight spin, because I had enough of a cushion there that I was able to get rolling again and kind of Sunday drive it to the end.
Yeah, there was a 54-second lead, I think, at the time. And like I had told everybody, it would have taken a catastrophic error on somebody's part, not just yours, but anybody's part, for this race to have gotten down to the wire. But
Yeah.
just a little spin on turn one was not it.
Yep, everything worked out. I was able to get another win on the season, and we can head to New Hampshire and see how that goes.
Absolutely, you definitely we went bowling, got a strike.
Heck yeah! Now I get to see what we can do out at New Hampshire. It was a good week, and we'll move into the next one after the off week.
So is the key to go not race for a month, come back so you can get the win?
Well, we'll find out. If New Hampshire goes terribly, you probably won't see me for a month.
All right. Any other words you wanted to say, Ann?
Yep, to everybody watching, listening, hope you all enjoyed the race. Happy Easter to everybody from the Midwest Motorsports family. And thanks for broadcasting. And you also have a very happy Easter, man.
Thank you. All right, your race winner, Ant Caster, everybody. What a pretty awesome race we got to witness there. I know that there was a bit of a gap and everything between cars, but these guys raced clean for the most part for most of the race. There was definitely some action in there, some moments that made you think, made you second guess between different pit strategies and some accidents that happen here or there, or some cars going off the side. We just over here on the Stock Car Series, we'll be off next week for Easter Sunday. So happy Easter to all of you out there that watch Sunday nights, and everybody that races on Sunday nights. We appreciate you. Without you guys, the viewers, without you guys, the racers, we don't really have anything here at Midwest Motorsports. Without all those, so we thank you all for tuning in, for racing and watching. So we're off here. We'll be back New Hampshire Motor Speedway for Sunday. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. Sunday, April 12th. And that'll be in New Hampshire. We'll be back here in the broadcast studio on the oval side, myself anyway, on Friday the 3rd, where we'll be driving at Pocono for the Truck Series. And again, don't forget to tune in on Tuesday the 31st to watch the Road Series at Spa. For everybody in the broadcast booth, the admin team, myself, I'm Michael Harris Jr. And for famous words from James J., stay in your lane. Maybe I should too.